What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the latest polling. If you are one of those people that's out there that wants to see the Democrats take back control of the Senate, then this is going to be a video for you, because we're looking at some of the latest polling and it's showing us the pathway that Democrats have to take back control of the Senate. And so that is what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, first, before we get started, your comments in my last video, it duly noted. I posted a video of President Trump. I think he was talking for like 3 minutes. I didn't realize the video was that long when you're putting everything together. So basically, I edit the video first, and then sometimes I will add different clips. I didn't realize that was a 3-minute clip when I added it. And so after I edited my video, I didn't play it from the beginning to the end, so I didn't see the flow, just wasn't there. So I apologize for that. In the future, if I have a long video, usually the format is if I'm showing you a long video, I'm going to be in the video as well. So I'll do like a reaction of it and I can talk as we watch the video. But in that instance, it was just the video. And so if you guys watch that video, you know what we're talking about here. Okay, but we're going to get into this video today. We're going to take a look at some of the latest polling. Now, when it comes to polling, I do want to remind you, this is a snapshot of what things look like today. This could change. It will change in the future. But when we're looking at some of the different polls that are out there today, they're showing Democrats do have this pathway. And we'll take a look at the Senate map after we look at this polling, and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about here. But the first poll, this is an Emerson poll, and I went over this one before. This is Plattner at 48%, Collins at 41%. So for Plattner, that's +7. Now, we are still waiting for the primary in Maine, so we don't know if it's going to be Plattner, if it's going to be Mills. But if we're looking at a situation where it is Plattner, Plattner tends to do better against Collins than Mills does against Collins. And so you might look at this and say, well, Plattner would be a better candidate against Collins versus Mills against Collins. Now, looking at the next poll, this is Alaska. This is ASR Peltola at 52.4. Sullivan at 47.6. And so Peltola has a +4.8% spread. Now, Sullivan is a Republican. He is the incumbent. So you have the incumbent in the latest polling showing that he's behind Peltola, who is the challenger, which is really interesting. Now, she's been a congresswoman out of Alaska before, but it's just interesting when you're looking at the incumbent should have an advantage. And in this situation, the incumbent does not have an advantage. Now, I want to show you one thing when we're talking about Alaska. When we look and we go back, now remember, Peltola, she came in the race in January of this year. But if we go back to October of last year, polling was done, this ASR poll, it shows Peltola at +2. We have another poll here, October 23rd, shows Peltola, this is DFP poll, shows Peltola at +1. Tyson, this poll in November, shows the Democrat at +4. And then January 11th, this ASR poll showed Peltola at +2. This PPP poll that was on January 17th shows Peltola at +2. And then the latest polling is showing Peltola at, give or take, +5. But nonetheless, it's showing Peltola has an advantage. And so that's raising an eyebrow in the Sullivan camp, because Peltola, she's doing well in the polls. Okay, so now let's move to North Carolina. When we move to North Carolina, we have Cooper at 49%. You have Whatley at 41%. And so that would be a +8 for Cooper. And then we look at New Hampshire. Now, this is the closest race so far that we're looking at. And this is a must-win for Democrats. Democrats held the seat. They need to win this seat. So you have Pappas at 45%. You have Sununu at 44%. This is a +1. So this is a seat, and let me show you. We'll get to the map right now, because this is something just so you guys can visually see what I'm talking about here. When we're looking at the map, currently Democrats and independents are at 47. Republicans are at 53. And so Democrats need to net 4 seats in order to take back control of the Senate. And so when we look at New Hampshire here, if we zoom in on New Hampshire, Democrats need to win in New Hampshire because they've held the seat before, and if they lose this seat, it's going to hurt their chances of taking back control of the Senate. And so that's a seat that they must win. They also must win in Georgia. So Ossoff needs to pull this off. And so if Ossoff can retain his seat, that is going to help Democrats. But not only do they need to maintain Georgia and New Hampshire, they also need to win those 4 seats. But when we looked at the latest polling, what did it show us? It shows us that in Maine, Plattner has an advantage. And so let's say Democrats win in Maine. In North Carolina, Cooper has an advantage. Let's say that Democrats win in North Carolina. And then when we move to Alaska, it showed that Peltola had an advantage. And so let's say Democrats win in Alaska. Now that brings us to 50-50. However, tiebreaker goes to the vice president. Vice president's a Republican, so that means that Republicans would maintain control of the Senate, but the Democrats would have a shot because they only need to win 1 more seat. And when we're looking at Texas, or when we're looking at Ohio, or even looking at an Iowa, Democrats do have an opportunity to win one of those states. And so we'll have to see how that plays out. If we're looking at Texas, I think Tallarico this is going to be a close race between Tallarico and Cornyn, or Tallarico and Paxton. We're just waiting for this runoff between Cornyn and Paxton to find out who the Republicans are going to have on the ticket. But Democrats have a good shot of winning in Texas. They also have a good shot of winning in Ohio because you have Sherrod Brown running. Sherrod Brown is running against Husted. Husted is the incumbent. However, Husted has never ran a Senate race before. He was appointed to the position, so this is going to be a very interesting race because you have Sherrod Brown, who lost in 2024, but he's won Senate races in the past in Ohio. And then when you move to Iowa, it's an open seat. We don't know who the candidates are going to be yet, but this should shape up to be a close race as well. And so looking at all of that information, let's just say, I just want to plug in a number just so you see the 51 that I'm talking about. Let's say Tallarico wins in Texas, and finally Democrats are able to win a seat in Texas. It's been over, like 30 years or so. So let's say Tallarico wins in Texas. Now you're looking at Democrats at 51, Republicans at 49. So Democrats take back control of the Senate. And that's just saying Texas. We don't know what's going to happen in Ohio. We could see Sherrod Brown win in Ohio. If Sherrod Brown wins in Ohio, then of course it would be 52 for the Democrats and 48 for the Republicans. And we haven't even talked about Nebraska or Montana. We could have 2 independents that win in both of those states. And so there's still a lot of questions out there when it comes to the midterms, especially for the Senate. But what I just showed you there is I showed you some polling, and I showed you the pathway that Democrats could use to take back control of the Senate. So now I want to pass this off to you. Do you think Democrats have a real possibility of taking back control of the Senate? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.